At the Chicago School of Professional Psychology in Los Angeles, we know you're more than just a student. You're a catalyst for change and an advocate for those in need. And we believe you deserve more. So your faculty are accomplished professionals. Your classroom is the real world. And the support you need is available when you need it. You're more than a student. Get more from your education. Learn more about the Chicago School's Los Angeles campus today at thechicagoschool.edu.
You know what this is?
A commercial?
Right, and you know what that means.
Time for a snack?
Wrong. I want you to do some heart-healthy exercise. Yes, you! Try some seated leg extensions right now. Just lift each leg up and extend it straight, one at a time, 6 to 8 times.
I can do that.
Yes, you can. Remember, every commercial is a chance to sneak in heart-healthy activity. Visit findexerciseanywhere.com and speak with your doctor to learn more about the risks of heart failure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 271. A few days ago, we were introduced to another character in the Jeffrey Epstein saga, a man named Gypsy Gita, who, according to Shantae Davies, was the man who introduced her to Jeffrey Epstein and Epstein Maxwell. We also know that Gypsy Gita was found in the Black Book, and there was also a gentleman named Stefan who was found in the Black Book, who was located in France, and there was a notation near his name that Stefan had better girls than Gypsy. So that's pretty ominous right there to start things off, right? So especially considering that Shantae said that he was the one that made the introduction and was in charge of the meat when she was introduced to Epstein Maxwell. So it does not look good for Mr. Gypsy Gita here. Tonight's article is from the Daily Mail, and it looks like they chased him down and got a bit of an interview with him. So we'll see what he has to say, but from what we know thus far about Mr. Gypsy Gita, he most certainly appears to be another player within the Jeffrey Epstein network, right? Another thread. And while there's no accusations that he was involved in the abuse, I think it's a pretty bad look to be in that Black Book and have another person's name, a person from France who I'm guessing is another quote-unquote massage person, and the notation says that his girls are better than yours. I mean, I guess they could be talking about regular massages, right? If we were living in the normal world and we were dealing with normal people, that would be my default reaction. They're just talking about massages. This guy's obviously someone who can provide masseuses, etc., etc. But that's not what we're talking about here. And that's not the situation that we find ourselves in. And that's not the situation that Gypsy Gita finds himself in. So we'll see what this Daily Mail article has to say, and we'll see what Mr. Gita has to say for himself. This article from the Daily Mail. The author, Caroline Graham. Headline, Spiritual Healer turned guru to Hollywood stars lifts the lid on massage sessions with aloof Prince Andrew in Jeffrey Epstein's House of Sin. Sounds pretty ominous, huh? So I'm guessing this guy, according to the talking points here, this guy gave Prince Andrew a massage twice, and he met him on 3 occasions. So the plot thickens, huh? So not only was Andrew getting massages from young girls and girls, he was also getting massages from little hobbit-looking so-called gurus. Interesting. A Hollywood guru to the stars. What does that even mean, by the way, before I go any further? How does one attain the title of guru to the stars? I don't understand what goes into that. Is there like a Cliff's Notes that I can check out? Some sort of forum? Perhaps a tutorial on YouTube? Has described giving a massage to Prince Andrew inside the weird and creepy mansion of convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. So weird and creepy that he kept hanging out with Epstein for at least 4 years. And that's the thing, right? All these people, Jeffrey Epstein's house was creepy. All the stuff in the house was odd. Well, why were you going there for 4 or 5 years. I mean, was the caviar that good? Was his wine so much better than everybody else's? We're not talking about poor people here. The people that were hanging around with Epstein, they had money too. And if this dude was such a creepy son of a bitch and he walked on a different path than you do, then why in the world would you continue to go to his house? Gypsy Gita, 70, who worked for the billionaire pedophile from 2001 to 2005, claims he met Andrew on 3 occasions and massaged him twice. Well, I wonder if he was sweating when he was getting massaged. But all kidding aside, what it does, again, is put the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family, a.k.a. Andrew, directly in Jeffrey Epstein's orbit while he had Virginia around him. So it, again, leads more credence to what Virginia has been telling us from the very beginning, and it's rather obvious to anyone paying attention that Prince Andrew is lying through his teeth. He described the prince as being aloof, adding, "I didn't know who Andrew was. Most Americans, at least until recently, wouldn't have a clue who he is." All right, full stop. That's BS. I think that's a lie as well. So this guy, he wants me to believe, not they, because this is Gypsy Gita who is speaking to the Daily Mail here. He wants us to believe that no Americans knew who Prince Andrew was. Americans have like this thing for the royal family in England. There's a lot of Americans who know who Prince Andrew is, okay? And furthermore, you're supposedly a guru to the stars, this massage therapist to the stars. You're always around Jeffrey Epstein, and he didn't mention that he's buddies with Prince Andrew. You don't know who Prince Andrew is, and you want me to believe that you're a guru to the stars? I found him a bit strange, arrogant, off, in some way I couldn't put my finger on. He was aloof and odd. Oh yeah, all of a sudden you couldn't put your finger on it, huh? He was aloof, he was odd, he was strange. But, you never questioned your boy Jeffy about who he was or anything, huh? Just, let me get on with this massage. Let's get on with my guruisms. Let's get on with my spiritual healing. Somebody get me my rocks. Mr. Gita, a Native American spiritual healer who has worked with celebrities including U.S. President Donald Trump and actress Minnie Driver, was introduced to Epstein and his alleged Madam Ghislaine Maxwell when Trump passed his phone number on. Well, that's all fine and well, but if you take a look at this Gypsy Gita's Facebook page, there's a lot of anti-Trump rhetoric on his page. So I don't know where he's coming from with his conversations here. And to be honest, I kind of think that Mr. Gita is trying to cover himself up here for his roles by throwing out names. But at the same time, we also have to realize that it's, again, Donald Trump's name is mentioned in regards to Jeffrey Epstein. We can't let that slide either. But I will tell you this Mr. Gita guy most certainly doesn't ring like a credible person in my opinion here. Now, is he credible? I don't know one way or the other. I'm only going on a couple of articles that we've read here, right? So that's all I have to go on. But my gut tells me he knows a lot more than he's saying here, and he had a lot more to do with Jeffrey Epstein than just providing a massage every once in a while. He described walking into Epstein's 55 million pound home in Manhattan as like entering a weird, warped world, adding it was creepy. Once you went through the big front doors, there was a desk you checked in at, and then you turned left to go to the sitting room where visitors waited. There was this huge wall of prosthetic eyeballs. There must have been 150 at least. Jeffrey would say, "Don't forget, you are being watched at all times." And it was so creepy. And he went through these front doors and there was these eyeballs and it was such a scary situation that he decided that it would be a good idea to send girls to Jeffrey Epstein anyway. He thought it would be a good idea to introduce Shantae Davies to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. If you were so creeped out about what was going on, why in the world would you send these girls anywhere near these two psychopaths? He said that Epstein, who killed himself in prison last year while being held on multiple child sex charges, allegedly, always wore a uniform. I massaged him multiple times, and he would always wear sweatshirts, which said either Harvard or Yale on them, he said. Epstein went to neither, but he was a donor to both. And we've dug into that extensively here on the podcast. His ties to academia are disgusting. And the fact that these people were taking money from him, not only for their projects, but behind the scenes, getting them bags delivered to them for whatever the hell, God knows what reason, is just disgusting. And Yale, Harvard, MIT, all of these schools, all of these storied institutions where people are sending their children at a huge clip to their bank account are being taught by professors who think it's a good idea to have a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, who think it's a good idea to bring him on campus and give this guy an office at Harvard where all these young girls are hanging out, when we know that Jeffrey Epstein's a sick bastard. Everybody knew it. Come on, I'm not buying the BS. I'm not buying the rhetoric, and you're not going to get that one over on us. You people all knew that something was off with this sick bastard, and nobody said shit. In fact, you all accepted him into polite society even after knowing what he was after the first count and the first charge he was sentenced to. All because you thought that he could advance your life in some manner. And in your pathetic, sick world, the consolidation of power, the advancement of status means more than the fact that this man is a certified level 3 risk to society sex offender. Mr. Gita added, he always had this smirk on his face, like he was the smartest guy in the room. I've been around celebrities and billionaires who have Monets on their walls, so I wasn't awestruck by him. I just thought he was weird. He keeps saying this, I thought he was weird, I thought he was weird. You don't work for somebody, at least I wouldn't. I wouldn't work for somebody for 4 or 5 years that I thought was hella weird, that I thought had weird things going on in their lives. Walk in and they got eyeballs everywhere. It tells me everything in the house is watching me. That's not the kind of environment I'd be working in. And furthermore, if you're this big guru to all of these stars and these Hollywood folks, you don't need one more client, one more rich guy that's going to record your every move, that has you massaging guys like Prince Andrew. You don't need that, right? If you're this dude, you're flying in from California to do these massages. It just doesn't add up. The story doesn't add up. I always worked on him in the upstairs massage room. It was in this room that women, including Andrew's accuser, Virginia Roberts, say they were abused. So that's another tidbit right there, a breadcrumb like I'm always talking about. It's important to add that. Gypsy Gita, this man who was involved with Jeffrey Epstein, we don't know his credibility. He could be very credible, right? Then this could all be the truth. Or none of it could be the truth, and he could have a part in this trafficking ring. We do not know. But the fact of the matter is this. He's saying that one way or the other, if he was involved with the more intricate part of the trafficking ring, then he would know this as well. But if he was just giving massages like he says, and this is where he would work on Andrew, it would lend even more credibility to Virginia's story. Now we have places, we have times, we have other people who have said that they have worked on Prince Andrew in the same room. And this all of this adds up, this kind of evidence, folks. This isn't going off and just making accusations with nothing to back those accusations up with. We're talking about multiple people now who have come forward and put Andrew at the place of several of these crimes. Andrew, who was seen yesterday whistling nonchalantly as he drove out of Windsor Castle, has repeatedly denied Miss Roberts' accusations and any suggestion of wrongdoing. Father of 2, Mr. Gita insists that he was never aware of any underage girls at Epstein's properties. If I'd been aware of him abusing children, he'd be dead, he said. And those are fine words, and while I agree, and that's the same attitude I have, I think it's a bit hollow. You were working with this dude for 4 years. You saw all of these young girls. You sent him Shantae Davies. How many other girls did you send to him? So don't tell me you didn't, he would have been dead. Come on, I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a minute. And so far, what we're reading here in this article is not anything that's going to sway me into to thinking that he was just some guy who happened to get caught up with Jeffrey Epstein. If he's just a massage therapist, why would he be introducing other women to Epstein or Maxwell? That's his role as a massage therapist? Why would you want to get rid of business and give it to somebody else? Or was there something else going on here? That's the question that's being asked, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that question is being answered thus far in this article. Let's see what else we got. He bitterly regrets introducing women, not woman, but women into Epstein's orbit. As the Mail on Sunday revealed last week, Shantae Davies claims she was trafficked as a sex slave after Mr. Gita introduced her to Miss Maxwell. Now, this is crucial. Women. Not woman, not one woman, not just Shantae Davies, but women. What other women were introduced to Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell by this Gita character? You see, this is all the stuff that we need to know. We need to know one way or the other how many girls were introduced, if those other girls were abused. Chances are, if they were introduced to Epstein and Maxwell, that they were abused. I mean, how many women came into their orbit and didn't end up getting abused? I am sure plenty of them. Plenty of them. Shantae was a trainee masseuse working for me, and Ghislaine offered her a full-time job. I had no idea she ended up in such a terrible situation, he said. Yeah, why didn't you tell the whole story about how you were adamant that she should take the job? That you told her that it was a really good job for her. And furthermore, you don't think as her boss or somebody who she's working with, maybe you're a mentor in a mentor's role, that you don't take a proactive interest in how things are going with her? You don't call in and see, hey, how are my friends Ghislaine and Jeffrey treating you? Everything good? Do I need to come over there and slap somebody in the mouth? No, none of that occurred. She was sent to him, and then now when this all comes out years later, all of a sudden he's contrite. All of a sudden, he would have killed Jeffrey Epstein if he knew there was abuse going on. Well, it does not ring so true to me, sir. Mr. Gita also claims that he massaged Andrew again at Miss Maxwell's New York townhouse. She had her own massage room, and I worked on Andrew there. He had bad body posture. Yeah, okay, well, whatever, but all of a sudden you know that it's Andrew? I thought you didn't know who he was. They let you know afterwards, right? Come on, we all know that when Andy was coming over, as they would say, it was a big thing. It was a big deal to have the prince around for Epstein and Maxwell. Everybody knew, all the masseuses knew who he was, what the deal was. He says he stopped working for Epstein when Miss Maxwell made what he considered to be a veiled threat. She said, "You're going to start hearing things about Jeffrey, and I want you to know none of it's true." When I hesitated, she said, "I know you have 2 daughters. That scared me. I'd never told her or Jeffrey about my family, and it felt like a threat. I never went back." So you worked for Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for 4 or 5 years. You were comfortable enough with them to send young girls into their orbit to, quote-unquote, do massages, but you weren't close enough to them to tell them about your family. You guys never had that banter, that very basic banter. Hey, what's going on, man? You married? You got some kids? How old are they? What are their names? They go to college? Basic human interaction. None of that occurred, huh? Spiritual guy, Mr. Guru? I don't know, folks. I don't know about you, but this is looking like a 5 chicken parmesan situation for me. The Washington Post gives out 5 Pinocchios. A cougine like me gives out 5 chicken parmesans for big whoppers. Miss Maxwell is awaiting trial on charges of procuring underage girls for sex and perjury. She denies all the charges. Representatives for Prince Andrew last night declined to comment. And again, look, I don't know if Gypsy Gita played a role here, right, folks? I don't have that information. This could be very mundane, like he's saying, and he is just a massage therapist who provides young girls to rich pedophiles and molesters. I guess that could be the case. But from what I know so far, and from what we have been provided by these 2 articles in the Daily Mail, it's not looking good for this guy, in my opinion. To me, it looks like he was a West Coast procurer. He had a certain type that Jeffrey wanted and Ghislaine wanted. His job was to provide that type in these young, vulnerable, impressionable girls who were training to be masseuses. And that's the way it looks to me. Another enabler, another player in the story, and another person who helped Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell abuse and assault women. And the fact that he's in that black book next to a man named Stefan, with the notation that I talked about earlier of Stefan having better girls than Gypsy Gita. Again, in the regular world, if we were dealing with normal folks, that would be very common, right? Okay, the guy's a massage therapist. He has a group of massage therapists that work under him, trainees, and he sends them out. All right, perfect. And so does Stefan. But when we know what massage means to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and we know what the notations mean in that book and in the notes and in the little letters that were sent, then it becomes much more devious. And I believe harder questions must be asked. If you'd like to contact me, you could do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. The links that go with this article can be found in the description box. And to everybody who has donated to the GoFundMe recently, thank you very much. All right, everybody, we'll be back tomorrow morning and we'll start it all over again. I hope you're all having a great Saturday night, and if you're out, please do not drink and drive.
You know what this is?
A commercial?
Right, and you know what that means.
Time for a snack?
Wrong. I want you to do some heart-healthy exercise. Yes, you! Try some seated leg extensions right now. Just lift each leg up and extend it straight, one at a time, 6 to 8 times.
I can do that.
Yes, you can. Remember, every commercial is a chance to sneak in heart-healthy activity. Visit findexerciseanywhere.com and speak with your doctor to learn more about the risks of heart failure. You know what this is?
A commercial?
Right, and you know what that means.
Time for a snack?
Wrong. I want you to do some heart-healthy exercise. Yes, you! Try some seated leg extensions right now. Just lift each leg up and extend it straight, one at a time, 6 to 8 times.
I can do that.
Yes, you can. Remember, every commercial is a chance to sneak in heart-healthy activity. Visit findexerciseanywhere.com and speak with your doctor to learn more about the risks of heart failure.